YouTube people. All right, welcome to Hanna Time. Here we go. We're getting ready for a big Friday, baseball, football Friday. Here we go. All righty, welcome. Good Friday to everybody. Welcome back to Hanna Time. Your host, Cornelius Brad Hanna on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Got a lot of baseball to start the show with, and then a lot of football playoff previewing. Big games. Winners go to the Super Bowl. How cool is this? This is the time of the year. It's fun, it's exciting for football, but at the same time, it's sad because it's just a few more games to go until next season, right? Baseball in the news, it's been all over the news this past week in a big way. And something about what has gone on the last 24 hours. More Astro allegations developing from the scandal to conspiracy. Is there? Can we call this a conspiracy now? The evidence is there, but then again, a lot of his allegations that look like evidence and has to be proven somehow, or somebody's got to just submit something that this was wrong and I did wrong, and then just move on. But a lot of cover up. I don't believe this is completely out in the open, but more evidence really allegedly hitting hard with the Astro players. And the Boston Red Sox are not out of the water just yet. We'll get into that at the top of the show. Dolphin Dan, the GOAT, Dan Marino. We'll talk about Dan Marino and what he said. The NFL talented player pool of free agency, but there's going to be a lot of players that are good that are going to be released and become free agents that some teams can pick up some good talent. We'll go through a few of those names that you may be going, wow, I hope I can get that guy on my team. And we'll go through the injury report and the weather report of this weekend's NFL football conference championship games in San Francisco and Kansas City. A lot to talk about. Let's move it along right here live on Facebook, live on YouTube. And I'll tell you, folks, what has happened the last 24 hours has blown up majorly for the Houston Astros, not just in a way of the Major League Baseball punishment and the firings of general manager and coach, but now players are starting to get pinpointed down of them being involved like we all felt they were, because they had to know the conspiring of this scandal of cheating by illegally using devices to steal signs and to know what pitch is coming. That is so bad. And people have to understand that. All right. Let's go to the next part of this, the conspiracy part of it. Baseball. If you think about the conspiracy, the word itself, conspiracy is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. The Houston Astros, the Boston Red Sox have clearly admitted, supported, and had no way out of it, but conspired secretly to do something against the rules of the game of baseball that is harmful to the game of baseball. And that's something that is the biggest difference than just saying, again, well, they've been cheating and stealing signs forever. Not this way. Not when you are legitimately or conspired to or allegedly, which we are seeing that there are more evidence coming out that baseball players were wearing a device on their chest above their breast that would vibrate and signal what pitch was coming. One vibration would be a fastball, two would be a breaking ball, maybe three would be a changeup, whatever sequence that they had in place to conspire to do something like this. The Houston Astros players seemingly, allegedly, and from what we saw in video and from photos, were wearing devices. Now, it has to be completely proven or admitted. But right now, public opinion is heavy, strong, and it's not going away. And this is where the game being harmed for the long term. Three managers have been fired, including Carlos Beltran of the Mets, who was part of the Houston Astros 2017 championship team. AJ Hinch and Alex Cora, the other two. The devastating photos and videos of Altuve and teammates, one clearly on JJ Redick, where you can see what appears to be a masking tape, something that is clear across the top of the chest and a wire coming out of it. You clearly see the video of Altuve coming to home plate after the home run, and you see him holding his shirt, yelling at his players, "Don't take my shirt off. Don't," warning them because he knows what's on it. And then by a camera and zooming in on it, you can see what could be more of a device lining of a wire underneath his shirt. And soon after he crosses home plate, Altuve, and soon after he celebrates holding his shirt to celebrate with his teammates, he escapes into the Astros dugout and then channels into the clubhouse, the locker room, and takes off the jersey because he came back out with the t-shirt on. Most or all actually players just put the t-shirt on the field while they're on during the celebration of winning a championship, right? Or doing something big like that, right? So why does he have to go all the way in to do that? Again, speculation, allegation, but man, it does not look good. And it surely leans heavily, suspiciously. Public opinion not buying it. That the Astros and Altuve is clean. And that Astros players like Bregman, clean. This is going down to be one of the biggest scandals in baseball. It's going to get worse because public opinion will not let it go. And if you're one of the Astro players or Red Sox players under the Alex Cora Red Sox or the AJ Hinch Astros, you know, as fans, and you're not going to let it go. By that meaning and saying, are the Astros and the Red Sox going to trade away their talent, get rid of players that they don't want because of the conspiracy, the conspiring to do this illegally, wrongfully, and harmfully to the team and to the game of baseball? And by getting rid of them, even though they're great talents in your eyes, and we don't know how great they may be without the cheating aspect, get rid of it, start fresh, start clean, and rebuild. Start all over again. It may be the Houston Astros' best opportunity to clean house and recycle. For the Boston Red Sox, who are in turmoil with contracts on a decline of talent, maybe a time to clean house and get rid of those that are involved. If they know who's involved and you know who's involved, those teams probably should be advised to clean house. Now, does anybody want to trade for those guys and add them to their team? That's a hard thing to look at. Fans may not want them on their team because you don't know what you're going to get. We'll find out more as the season next year goes on and how these players perform. But it's not every pitch. It's not every game. Well, I don't know about every game, but not every pitch from what I can understand and see and what I'm hearing. It's in situational baseball. They use it the most. They use it in the first inning to get out of the gates early, to take over the game and dominate and get the other team's bullpen in trouble and get them their starting rotation out of whack. And then they use it again late in the game to make sure or to seal it or come up with a big hit. Interviews after the game of the 2019 ALCS of the Yankees Astros, you can see and hear Altuve making the excuse or not that his wife doesn't like his shirt to come off and told him not to do it again. Either we are looking through the eyes of somebody hiding the truth, which really looks like Altuve, the once gem, lovable character, player of the game of baseball, is now for the rest of his career is going to be looked upon completely different. And the only way he can destroy that and wipe it out is that he can do it without cheating, without anything, and have great years ahead of him, knowing and showing I can still do it without it, and I am that great player. You got to recall, Altuve was a player that was not making the Astros team. He was a ball player before he became a star, before he became an MVP, that was struggling to make the roster, struggling to be an everyday player. And then it all changed one day. Magically, it all changed. Guys that were on that team going to other teams, magically their numbers have dropped, gone away. Let's see what happens. Let's see if these baseball teams will go further and trade away their talent and who wants them. But there's one damning and, oh my gosh, this is a really big one. It came out as Carlos Beltran niece reporting on Twitter that she saw Bregman and Altuve with devices on in the locker room following the winning series, the championship. Now, we are believing that this is not an actual niece. We are believing that it's an actual cover facade of somebody else not exposing themselves yet, maybe never, but wants to expose the Astros in a big way. They supposedly have more evidence, photos taken inside that locker room, showing the devices on their body, showing the devices of the tape, the wiring on their body. If this is the case, and if this is really the case, damning evidence, no more allegation, proof, banning from baseball needs to be implemented at that point. You went way above and beyond the line of competition and the integrity of the game and harming it in the biggest way. Baseball is hard on this stuff. And like a lot of organizations, they try to cover and hide to get through a lot of bad things that we never heard of before, and we may never know what really goes on. But when things get out and expose themselves to us, the fans, the media, it's over. It's too late, especially if it's strong. This is strong. People have been fired. People have been fired, fined, draft picks taken away. More punishment coming from Major League Baseball. Players now being investigated, will be investigated. How far does that go down the line? Baseball needs to clear this up and move on fast, though. Baseball season is approaching us. Pitchers and catchers report in less than a month or about a month away. About 4 weeks away, pitchers and catchers, spring training, to get ready for the 2020 season. Get this cleared up, move on, and take on whatever comes our way. As baseball fans, those franchise, those teams, those players must accept and deal with. The fans will not be nice. They will not be nice. And this is harmful to the Astros long term, for the Red Sox long term. And that's why Carlos Beltran was fired by the New York Mets, or resigns, whatever you want to say. There you have that part of baseball. In a minute here, we'll talk football. I want to say hello to a lot of people out there. I know this is a subject that really touches you. Please let me know. I believe the evidence and the allegations are super strong for more. Roger Braun, Frank in the house, Rudy in the house. Good morning, Rudy. Tiffany, Glenn Anderson, Ian in the house, Billy Swanson, Danny Rogers, Martin Adamas in the house, Esteban in the house. Is at Lucy in the house. How you doing? On Facebook Live. Martin in the house. Dawn, Casper in the house. Let's see. Robert Flores, Jay Tesmer in the house. Noreen McCartney in the house. Victoria Slayman, bless you, Victoria. Martin Adamas says, bro, the Astros are the Milli Vanilli of baseball. Well, those are the jokes. Those are the jokes that are going to come out. No doubt. It has to. Joey on YouTube, thank you for popping in. All righty, more coming in. Joe, Jonathan, Joseph, Debbie Burrow in the house. Burrow Thornhill, hey, Debbie. Glory in the house. Felix says they should be banned if they found guilty. If those devices, Alex, or Felix, I'm sorry, are real, if those devices on the body, the vibration, let's think about the vibration here. I don't want to be too funny, but this may sound funny. They got a lot of weird, cool, sexy vibration stuff that guys buy for their women. Buy for their women. They put it down in the most private areas that is supposed to be sexually exciting and vibrating a woman by a remote control. A remote control. So think about that, a remote control with your lady walking down the aisle in Walmart, and you hit it, and boom, she drops to her knees. The vibration between her legs is just devastatingly good, and oh my gosh, I can't do this. So if a remote control from a distance away, line of vision of the device, if it's antenna or whatever, signals or whatever it is, it's easily done to strap on a little vibration thing that's flat with a wire. And the wire, all the wire really is to signal. There's something inside of it to signal. If it's a laser signal, whatever it is, it's a remote control. And right from the dugout. And now I want to see footage. And maybe the footage is coming from up in the press box or somewhere else. But I want to see footage now of potential somebody like Alex Cintron of the Astros, who was giving the Yankees the middle finger during the playoffs last October because the Yankees knew what they were doing. The Yankees tried to stop it on the playing field. The Yankees weren't whining outside. They were trying to stop it. And people on the field, the umpires, and people close enough can hear it. Matter of fact, Fox Sports doing the playoffs, or I think it was Fox doing the playoffs. Whoever is doing the playoff had the audio. It was Fox. Had the audio. Had the video. Had everything. You can hear what was going on the field. The parabolics that pick up sound from far distances. So that people knew that the Yankees were not happy about something. And then they investigated. So I want to know who else is involved. I want to know what Cintron had to do with it. Why was he giving the Yankees the middle finger? He's the batting coach. Think about how far this will go. It can get really bad, really ugly. And the Red Sox are not clear yet. I mean, they're not clear because if they were doing it, obviously Alex Cora was fired. So that is a big deal. And that what players knew, because if they were doing it, then there was a conspiring group effort by the players, coaching staff to pull this off. That means players are involved. And now the players need to be hit hard, suspended, fined, and maybe even kicked out of baseball if you're wearing devices, vibrating devices. Let's leave those vibrating devices to the man and woman for their sexual pleasures or fun. We don't need it on the baseball field. Let those men and women hit the home runs in the bedroom, but not on the baseball field. You don't need a vibrating system device on your body to hit a home run in baseball. That's between man and woman, not between pitcher and batter. I hope that makes sense to you. But it does to me. All right, Gene. Rogerio in the house. Will's in the house. Hey, Wills, welcome back. Kareem Abdullah, welcome there. This is so bad, but wish it was the Dodgers cheating. Well, the Dodgers are not happy. They're not happy. 2 World Series to 2 teams that were caught. There you go. Rudy, I've played baseball my whole life. I knew an off-speed pitch was coming by batting average and home run total would be a lot higher, obviously. The World Series win and their individual accolades are suspect as well now. Totally, Rudy. Rudy, this is an asterisk. There is an asterisk now, big time. From the Barry Bonds, the McGuires and the Sosas of the world, to the Patriots, their issues with Spygate and Deflategate and whatever gate they opened up. Herbert in the house and Crystal in the house. Thank you for popping in. All right. I hope you got that. I hope you understand that. Let's move on. The NFL. Right here. We're going to break it down for you. The NFL Conference Championship football games are upon us. The NFL playoffs. We'll give you the injury report right now. We'll give you the weather report. We'll give you the breakdown of the game, the comparison of the teams matched up against each other. We got the Titans and the Chiefs in the AFC, and we got the Packers and the 49ers in the NFC. All on Sunday, late afternoon and early evening across America and all over the world. The globe will be watching the NFL Conference Championships. The winner goes to the Super Bowl. I'm Cornelius Brad Hanna. This is Hanna Time right here on Global Sports Broadcasting Network and on YouTube and Facebook Live also. And check out the .com on GSPN for the live streaming right now. All right, let's get into football. We got a lot of football going on. Okay. And I'm just checking something out here. Okay. There we go. I'm back. All right. So what do we look for in this NFL playoff weekend in football? What do we have in front of us? What is it that intrigues us? All right. So the NFL will have a new Super Bowl champion. Okay. For the 15th consecutive season, as 4 teams vie for the Super Bowl of 54, the AFC Championship game, and the NFC Championship game, the Titans, Chiefs, Packers, and Niners. Okay. 3 teams were not in the playoffs last year. Packers, Niners, and Green Bay were not in the playoffs. The Chiefs were in the AFC Championship game. All right. They missed the playoffs. Again, last week, the Chiefs comeback win, look great. The Titans blowing out the Ravens early and hanging on to win that game very convincingly. Let's break this game down a little bit later, but let's talk about what numbers we can look forward to in the way of Super Bowls since the 12-team playoffs in 1990, the new playoff system. Only 2 other teams have been a 6th seed and having to beat all the top-ranked teams to get to the Super Bowl and to win it all. The Green Bay Packers in 2010 did it. They ran it. They were the 6th seed and had to beat the top-ranked teams to get through the Super Bowl. Pittsburgh did it in 2005. Both those teams won the Super Bowl. The Tennessee Titans are just 1 game away to doing the exact thing those two teams did. Is it possible? Yes. Both these teams are matched up pretty evenly. They are. A lot of people don't want to see it, but there's a lot of pluses and minuses that's going to go down. And whoever can, well, score more points, but whoever can tap into their strengths to get out and take advantage of the other team's weaknesses, like the game is played, has the best chance, right? I mean, that's how the game is won. All right, let's go on. Derrick Henry. God, this guy has run for over 180 yards. He's averaging at least 150 in four consecutive postseason games. Okay, hasn't been done since, oh my gosh, the last time was 1999. Eddie George. Derrick Henry can do this for another game in this playoffs. He can actually tally and move up in the rankings. Derrick Henry, the running back of the Tennessee Titans, is putting together a legendary postseason and a legendary season for a guy who's been doing it for a long time. Love this guy. He is a huge part of the game. Also, more numbers and facts about the game. The single season rushing leaders to reach the Super Bowl. Sean Alexander did it in 2005. He was the league leading rusher, lost the Super Bowl. Terrell Davis was the league rusher in the NFL in 1998. He won a Super Bowl. And then Emmitt Smith did it 3 times. All 3 Super Bowls that Dallas won. He did it in 92, 93, and 95 for the Dallas Cowboys. Derrick Henry can do that. He can join these great running backs, leading the league in rushing to reach the Super Bowl. All right. More fun facts about this weekend. Most touchdown passes in their first 4 postseason games. Pat Mahomes has 8. He's right behind Alex Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Dan Marino, and Kurt Warner. He has 8. Warner has 11. If Mahomes throws for 4 touchdowns, he surpasses Kurt Warner with the most touchdown passes in his first 4 playoff games. Remarkable. Mahomes is the guy. Right now, he's the best quarterback in the league. But he has to finish it. He's got to get the ring to claim that. All right, more numbers coming down about this game this weekend, all the games this weekend. Most postseason wins in NFL history. We'll look at this one more time. New England, Pittsburgh. New England 37, Pittsburgh 36, Dallas 35, Green Bay 35, and San Francisco 31. Those are the top 5 teams in NFL history with the most postseason wins. Green Bay wins this game, they will tie Dallas. Wins the Super Bowl, they'll tie Pittsburgh for second place. San Francisco can only get up to 33 by winning the Super Bowl. All right, coaches to appear in the Super Bowl in their rookie season. Back in 1970, Don McCafferty did it. Red Miller with the Denver Broncos in 77. George Seifert with the 49ers. Bill Callahan of Oakland. Jim Caldwell with the Colts. And Matt LaFleur with the Green Bay Packers. What is so ironic about all those names is that McCafferty of the Baltimore Colts of 1970 took over a Colts team of legendary status. Red Miller in 1977 took over a Denver Bronco team. George Seifert, the Orange Crush, I should say. George Seifert took over Bill Walsh's team. Bill Callahan took over John Gruden's team. Jim Caldwell took over Tony Dungy's team. Matt LaFleur, who is he taking over? McCarthy. Mike McCarthy's handprints on those Packers teams. It looks like as a rookie coach, you piggyback success of what's in place. We'll know more about LaFleur in the years to come as the team moves on away from the McCarthy era, who's now with Dallas. But all the other names I mentioned, all piggybacked. McCafferty of the Colts took care of business when he took over Don Schuler's Baltimore Colts that lost Super Bowl III, but won Super Bowl IV, beating the Cowboys. Just some fun facts about postseason and Super Bowl history. Most career touchdown passes, Aaron Rodgers is 38. He's not going to catch Tom Brady, who is 74. But he can catch Peyton Manning, and he can probably catch Brett Favre if he gets to the Super Bowl, who has 44. Manning has 40. And Joe Montana has 45. So 2 great games by Aaron Rodgers could be in second place in that category alone itself. All right. Injury report. If you're worrying about the injury report for this weekend of the NFL playoffs, here we go. Let's start off on yesterday's report coming out of the, what is this, the Titans? It is the Titans. All right, the Titans report, Thursday injury report. Jaylen Brown, linebacker, shoulder. Tackle Jack Conklin, shoulder. Linebacker Rashawn Evans, foot. Wide receiver Cody Hellinger. Hollister, ankle. And Adam Humphries, ankle. And Andre Jackson's foot. All participated in practice yesterday, but were limited. Players that you're concerned with, full practice yesterday. Logan Ryan was ill. He's the quarterback for Titans. David Long, knee, linebacker. He was full practice participant yesterday. For the Chiefs, Thursday, practice report. Did not practice. Chris Jones, calf. Running back, LaShawn McCoy, illness. Matt Moore, quarterback, backup, illness. Limited in practice on Thursday was tight end Travis Kelce. He was also limited on Wednesday. He'll be ready to go on Sunday. Full participation on players that we're concerned with. Morris Claiborne, cornerback, shoulder. Kendall Fuller, knee, cornerback, and defensive end, Touch. Oh my God, I can't pronounce it. Pasanagon. His neck. Austin Ryder, center, wrist, and defensive tackle, Kalen Saunders, and knee injury to Andrew Wiley, ankle, guard. Those guys were full participants for the Chiefs practices. For the Green Bay Packers, report did not practice. Nobody, let's see this. Thursday practices, everybody was practicing. That's what I'm getting to. Limited participation. Tremon Williams, Brian Bulaga, tackle. Kenny Clark, Alan Lazard, tight end Mercedes Lewis, Preston Smith, ankle. Billy Turner, Dan Vitale, and cornerback Tremon Williams. All were not or limited on Wednesday. The report changed on Thursday. Geronimo Allison made the report with illness. Kenny Clark, back. He made it on Thursday. Limited practice. Jimmy Graham bounced on the limited practice on Thursday. Wide receiver Alan Lazard remained limited. Mercedes Lewis remained limited. Preston Smith remained limited. And running back Dan Vitale, he remained limited. And Tremon Williams also remained limited on Thursday's practice. Guys that made it full practice on Thursday that were injured or ill, Brian Bulaga, tackle. That's big for the Packers. Adrian Amos, safety. He made it full practice. Ryan Grant, wide receiver. Not injury related, but he was at full practice. And linebacker Blake Martinez and guard Billy Turner, ankle, all fully practice on Thursday. Packers have some illnesses there, some nagging injuries, but looks like they're healthy enough to put together a full roster just about on Sunday against the 49ers. 49ers, they have limited guys on Thursday. Quan Alexander, pectoral. They're keeping an eye on him. D Ford, also defense, his quad and hamstring. He was limited. Full practice is Tevin Coleman, the running back, and tight end George Kittle, the ankle, and Rasheem, Mostert, calf, running back. So there are some guys that were hurt for the Niners, but their injury report overall looks clean. The guys that were limited, Alexander and Ford, are just precaution to get them ready for Sunday. They're good. And everybody else was full participant. So the Niners are pretty healthy going into this game. They look like they're at full strength, and that's not good for the Packers. Packers have some nagging injuries, guys that are going to play. They need them all. They need everybody against this Niner team that looks like the favorite to win it all. All right, let's move on. Comments coming in. Let's look at it right here. We got Cecilia. We got Joe. We have got Luis Ponce in the house. We got Sean in the house. Andy, Chris Jones, not the football player, right? JT in the house. Todd, Wilson, Victoria, and Albert in the house. Thank you guys for popping in. All right. Let's move it on. Let's look at the weather report. You want the weather report? I gave you the injury report. We'll give you the weather report in a minute for this game. Well, let's break down what is really the numbers of the game and how close the Titans and the Chiefs are by the numbers. Offensively, these teams are really close. Their only difference is that the Chiefs are 3 points better on their average per game. 25 for the Titans, 28 for the Chiefs. But on the yardage part, hey, the offense for the Titans are 362, while the Chiefs are 379. Average per game, yards per game. On defense, the Chiefs are giving up 19 points a game, while the Titans are giving up 20 points a game. This has the making of a close game down to the wire, and if that's the case, by those numbers, this favors the Titans or gives the Titans their best chance because that's what they want. They want a close game with their running back who can they can run and beat you down late in the game. But here's one more number that's going to blow you away about Sunday's game. Titans and the Chiefs. Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback, is leading the league in quarterback rating at 118. Pat Mahomes is 105. That's pretty good. But Ryan Tannehill is a 118. And it's no joke. The guy has always been able to throw the ball. Now he's surrounded by better talent. The best talent he's ever been around as a quarterback since his Miami days. Now he's in Tennessee, and he just makes big plays. And he's a good passer. And he's got a great running game in Derrick Henry, who leads the league in rushing. So now you got the best rated quarterback and the best running back in the game. By those numbers, you can't argue. No, Mahomes is better. But how do you now look at Ryan Tannehill, what he's done? And if you continue to ignore Tannehill's greatness of what he's done since taking over the quarterback position in Tennessee, then you're going to miss. And if the Chiefs do that, because Baltimore did it last week and they screwed up. They put so much emphasis on Derrick Henry, they didn't realize or they didn't care that Ryan Tannehill may beat them a little bit. But I warned everybody last week that Tannehill is going to beat you big. Goes deep, throws long. He's got great receivers, young ones, big ones. They're strong. They're fast. They catch the football. And he's got a running back that's Derrick Henry. And he throws a good ball. Short, long. The guy is good. And if he continues to do what he did the last 6 to 7 weeks in the NFL, all those games, why not Tennessee Titans taking it all the way? Why not win it all? Why is it that we're not believing because they're the Titans and they barely got in? But they're the hottest team in football in a lot of ways. You can say they're the hottest team in football in a lot of ways for what they've done. More numbers about this game. Defensively, both teams giving up yardage at the same rate of about 350 yards a game. So this game is really close in the statistical category. And we're going to remind everybody again one more time. The game is going to be won on penalties, turnovers, and special teams. And making a play or two. Somebody's got to make a play. The coach has got to call a right play. A coach can make a bad call, a bad play, run a bad play. So the three facets of the game, special teams, turnovers, and penalties, you have to win that battle. If you're on the losing side of that, things will go wrong and you won't win. Most of the time, you're not winning. Or you're letting a team that doesn't deserve to be playing that well against you because you're screwing up. But at this point of the season, AFC Championship game, you don't want to make mistakes. You got to be fundamentally sound. And then it comes down to making the plays, player versus player, coach versus coaches, making decisions on the field that will tilt the scale one way or the other. Really, that's what it comes down to. Look at those three in the game on the field. Do not go into the hype machine and follow everybody what they want to talk about as hype. It doesn't matter at this point. Every one of these quarterbacks are good. Everyone can run the football. Everybody can defend the game. The good defenses, they all have a passing game. This is going to be a really good weekend for the NFL. I believe this is going down to the wire. I am not going to pick. I want the Tennessee Titans to win, but I won't pick. Titans meet the Chiefs in the postseason for the 4th time. These teams have met. Kansas City won the first 2 games, their first 2 meetings. 2017 wildcard game in Arrowhead, and last year they met in 2018. Chiefs hold a 29-24 advantage. 53 all-time meeting between these teams. They played back in week 10, and the Chiefs beat the Titans 35-32. Probably will happen in the same scoreboard area. Very close game. Speaking about wins and losses, head coach Andy Reid has played the Titans 9 times as a head coach and is 1-8 as a head coach with the Eagles and the Chiefs. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't play good. Doesn't play out well. And once again, the Chiefs have a history of not winning at home too. Even though people talk about home field advantage, Chiefs have struggled over the years at home. And it looked like last weekend it was going to happen again. It was supposed to happen. It should have happened. The Texans had them and couldn't put them away. All right, one more footnote of this game. Let's see this. Mike Vrabel, rookie coach, his first 2 seasons, first 2 postseason games, I should say. First time since Jeff Fisher did it in 1999. So it's been 20 years that the Titans have not seen this from a head coach. Okay, pretty impressive right there. Derrick Henry, talked about him. Kansas City, the Chiefs, playing their 6th AFC championship game, is appearing in the game in the consecutive seasons. Lost it last year to the Patriots. Andy Reid makes his 7th conference championship appearance as the head coach, tied for 3rd most by a head coach since 1970. In their divisional victory over the Texans last week, Pat Mahomes threw for over 300 yards, 5 touchdowns, 50 yards rushing, and in a single game. That it was never done before. It's the first time in NFL history that was done. All right, next game. Oh, no, let's talk about the weather for this game. It's going to be cold. It's going to be 24 degrees. It's going to be sunny, though. Sunny day in Kansas City, 24 degrees. Uh, Decent humidity. The wind's very lightly at 10 miles per hour. So this is a really great day for football weather where the weather will not have any implication. 24 degrees in sunshine is not bad at all. It's very comforting. It's just football weather in January. And for Kansas City, you probably wanted a snowstorm. I don't know. You got to, it's like weather can also hurt the good teams. If your team is built to win now and it has a game plan or a system that is so good, but then it rains or snows, that changes and stops you from doing certain things that you would have done or would like to do on a clean playing surface, playing field. So this is good for both teams, the weather. All right, next game, Green Bay and San Francisco. Both teams at this point, including playoffs, are 14-3. Both teams played each other. The last time they played was November 24th. 37-8, 49ers destroyed the Packers. Will we see that again? Possible. Are the Packers able to adjust? Are the Packers playing better football? Yes. And yes. Should this be a closer game? Yes. Should the 49ers win this game? Yes. Can the Packers win this game? Yes. But the 49ers are favored. They are a better team, defensively especially. But once again, if things don't play out right in those three categories of penalties, turnovers, and special teams, it's going to benefit and help the Packers out, then all that doesn't matter stat-wise. And Garoppolo throws interceptions. Just remind you, he'll throw an interception. Depends on what part of the game and how crucial it was or devastating it can be. But Garoppolo will throw an interception. He usually does. Offensively, these teams are not far off. Packers don't score like the Niners do, but at the same time, this is playoff football and things change a little bit. Things get tighter. Niners average 30 points a game, the Packers 24. That's for the season. Defensively, though, both teams are only giving up 19 points a game. But now you got to look back on the 49ers injury report during the season. It was rattled. There were guys missing. Some guys were not supposed to ever make it back to the field, and they did. So a lot of their numbers are changed on defensively. So I think they're better on defense than what the numbers are showing. Offensively, the 49ers are clearly better, but not by much. Not by much. About 50 to 60-yard difference, an average a game. But that's the difference between 30 points and 24 points. That's a difference between a touchdown, right, or a field goal in favor of the 49ers. Both these teams can sack the quarterback. They got some beasts out there. The Packers do a great job. And the Packers lead the league with a plus 12, I believe, in the turnover ratio. Take and giveaways. They take away the ball 12 more times than their opponents. Where the 49ers are a plus 4. Not bad. It's good. You're on the plus side. But the Packers are plus 12. If that remains, if that continues for the Packers, good things will happen and you'll be in the Super Bowl. The kicking game, both these games may come down to the kicking game. Both punters do a good job. There's no real advantage. But for Mason Crosby and Robbie Gould of the 49ers and Crosby of the Packers, both these guys have been through a lot of playoff games, a lot of big games, a lot of weather games. So the pressure of these two, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Crosby's 22 for 24 kicking field goals. But Robbie Gould is 23 for 31. Lately, Robbie Gould, the field goal kicker of the Niners, has been good. Has been doing really well. So I expect both these kickers to be fine. Going to keep that little red flag out there on Robbie Gould, who is 23 for 31 on field goals. Extra points, both these guys are like identical. All right, more about this game. The Packers and 49ers meet in the postseason for the 8th time. Green Bay holding old-time postseason advantage of 4-3. San Francisco's won the last two meetings in the playoffs, a 23-20 wildcard victory in Green Bay 2013, and also 2014, January 5th. Green Bay holds a 36-31 and one-time series advantage over the 49ers. But don't forget, the 49ers beat them last 37-8 in Week 12 of this season. Green Bay has advanced to its 10th conference championship and its first since 2016, winning the Super Bowl. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur is his first head coach to reach the conference championship in his first season since Jim Harbaugh of the San Francisco 49ers in 2011. The Packers defeated the Seattle Seahawks last week. Close game, tough game. Man, they almost blew it. The Packers almost lost it. But there's one victory away from matching the Dallas Cowboys' third most in postseason victories in NFL history. For San Francisco, the 49ers, the team to beat, will appear in its 16th conference championship game, first since 2013. With a victory, Coach Kyle Shanahan will join Pro Football Hall of Famer Bill Walsh and George Seifert as the only head coaches in franchise history to reach the Super Bowl in their first postseason appearance. Each one, Walsh and Seifert, won a Super Bowl. Last week, San Francisco Jimmy Garoppolo threw an interception, but made his first career postseason start. He did good. Jimmy managed the game, made plays. But he threw an interception, and he almost threw two more. Actually, they should have been intercepted. He got lucky. Jimmy gets rattled. And if Jimmy's not comfortable in that pocket, he'll get rattled. And in this game alone, I believe the Packers pass rush will go after Garoppolo. The Packers can actually run four linemen and put pressure. They can do the same damage as the 49ers can with four-man linemen running after the quarterback. They don't have to blitz a whole lot. But when they do, it'll be done right, correctly, and boy, it can be damaging. It can be big-time damaging. Both these teams like using the safety off the blitz, off the weak side, a delayed blitz. But really, each team, defensive line, front four, can easily do the damage enough. And if that happens, if the Packers can just use their four front linemen, get after the quarterback, they got a lot of guys at sack, then they can drop guys in coverage, the other seven, and really take away a lot of passing lanes and cover a lot downfield. And that really is going to hurt the Garoppolo. And let's see how Garoppolo handles that. It's going to be a great chess match. Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but he has an offensive line that has done well, but not great. He's going to have to deal with a pass rush that destroyed him in Week 12. If that happens again, Packers lose easily. If that offensive line holds up If that offensive line allows the running game to make some damage, put some damage on that Niner defense, then it helps out Green Bay's offense passing the football. Aaron Rodgers needs balance because if he gets to time, he'll destroy you. He'll beat you. The problem over the years lately for the Packers is no time to protect Aaron Rodgers. This year, they've been protecting him more and running the football a lot better. The Packers run the football, and they're successful doing it. So are the 49ers. These teams, in a lot of ways, are evenly matched. Evenly matched. If there is an advantage, I go with Aaron Rodgers as an experienced quarterback. Very experienced quarterback that can deal with pressure, make the right decisions. Aaron Rodgers hardly throws interceptions. Garoppolo throws interceptions. Mark that down. If that plays out, the Packers Chiefs rematch of Super Bowl, right? Super Bowl I. Why not? A lot of history for the sport of football, the NFL, promoting an exciting celebration of 100 years of NFL that is climatically celebrated through the Super Bowl games. The very first one between the Chiefs and the Packers can be relived in its 100th season once again. How cool could that be? I love it. I love seeing it. Hall of Famers Joe Montana and Steve Young, quarterback rating over 100. Garoppolo finished the regular season at 102 passer rating. San Francisco quarterbacks with a passer rating of over 100 or higher in a single season with a minimum of 100 attempts since 1950. Garoppolo, Montana, and Steve Young. The weather report in San Francisco always has weather. A lot of times it rains. Sometimes the field is muddy, but this is not Candlestick anymore. New stadium, new drainage system. There's going to be a lot of clouds in the area. There's a storm, weather storm that has passed through, and another one that is going to come after the game. This game will have a cloudy forecast, 55 degrees, the wind at 9 miles per hour with some humidity. Not bad conditions. If the weather pattern changes, we'll have to pay attention to it, where that rain comes early, could change some of the game planning. But I don't see it being, from what I understand and see, heavy rain that will change and implicate the game itself and game planning for both teams. So the weather looks fine. You got to like that and accept that alone. All right. My last part of the show is Dan Marino. Dan Marino, the GOAT. Yeah. Dan Marino's the GOAT. And if you don't realize who the GOAT is, look up Dan Marino. Look up 1980s Miami Dolphins. Look up what he did from his rookie season out of the gates. Look at the guy that threw for 50,000 yards. You know, guy threw breaking touchdown records in a regular season in a single season in the 80s. Dan Marino finally said it. Dan, you finally said it. Thank you. Because Dan Marino, I've been on your side for the last 3 decades. I've watched you, Dan Marino, throw the ball in Miami. I've interviewed you. I've had some small memories with you in the locker room. But I watched you for 3 seasons in your prime, destroying the league like never seen before. Dan Marino said, I can throw for 6,000 yards and 60 touchdowns in today's game in one season. Dan Marino, He was the first one for 5,000, for 50. He's the first one to do he wiped out the books. Dan Marino, there's no doubt in my mind you would throw for 6,000 yards in a season in today's game. No doubt in my mind. And throwing for touchdowns, yes. You would change the game once again if that's the case. Dan Marino is better than any quarterback you're watching in today's game. He's better than Mahomes. Mahomes is on track to match or maybe surpass Dan Marino in time. But as of right now, for what Dan Marino did back in the 80s, if he played today, yeah, Dan, you would throw for 6,000 yards, and then everybody else would be looking at you and not Mahomes. So I'm glad Dan Marino making a comment, speaking out about how he would do in today's game. And I don't think anybody should argue that. If you want to argue, let's go. I love to debate this one. I love it. Dan Marino is the GOAT. He changed the game forever. He changed the game the way it was perceived. He made the game exciting. He destroyed record books. And Don Shula, his coach, is the greatest coach of all time. I would say the two greatest quarterbacks in my book and two of the greatest coaches of all time, I would go with Don Shula and Chuck Noll as 1 and 2. And then I would go with Dan Marino, Joe Montana as 1 and 2. Because what Bill Walsh did, he took what Don Shula did, he took whatever he knew, and he made the game a little bit different. But it wasn't like we haven't seen it before. It was being done in Miami. It was being done in St. Louis with the Cardinals and Don Coryell. But Bill Walsh took it to the next level, and he changed the game forever. And Joe Montana mastered it. But Montana's skill set is nothing like a Dan Marino. Dan Marino had the big arm. He had the soft touch. He had the quick feet for a big guy. He was hard to take down. He was hard to sack. And he had the quickest release of a quarterback you would never, ever see. You thought Peyton Manning's release was quick? Dan Marino. But Dan Marino could throw it 80 yards with that quick release. Peyton Manning, not quite that strong. That's how great Dan Marino is. Yes, Dan, 6,000 yards in a season and 60 touchdowns in a season. Yeah, you would have done that a couple of times. Yeah. You would have won a Super Bowl, Dan. You would have won a Super Bowl. All righty. Let's move on. Todd, remember when Tannehill, people were talking down to him? I agree with that. Dana in the house. Efra in the house. Bradley in the house. Jeremy in the house. Antonio. We got CSG in the house. Don says it's going to be such a great weekend of football. So excited to see who wins Super Bowl. Is going to be great as the Pats are not in it. Yeah, we're going to have a new champion. Josh Tweedy, Warren, Tim in the house, Joseph in the house, Brendan or Brenda in the house. Thank you, guys. Also on the YouTube side of it, guys, I got to say hi to people on the YouTube. I really do. I mean, it's not fair. Not fair. We have Andy. We got Chris. Who else I got there? I'm looking real hard here. We got, is that Stewart? Hey, Stewart, how you doing there? Appreciate you popping in. Christine, thank you for popping in there too. Marissa, how you doing, Marissa? Thank you for popping in. All right. That's pretty much it, folks, on this Friday. We had a great show. We talked about baseball at the top of the show. If you want to look at it again, if you want to review the show again, just go back to the top of the show and watch and listen to the baseball aspect of it all. The Astros allegations developing from scandal to conspiracy is on. It is a conspiracy in my book. But I gave you the question, is it a conspiracy? Is baseball doing the right thing? Yes. We talked about that. The Astros and Red Sox, are they going to trade away their talent? The guys that are under this incredible scrutiny, the fans, the morale of the game itself. These fans will not treat these players softly. They're going to be hard on them. And maybe, just maybe, some of these teams will get rid of a few of these guys that were part of it, that will get exposed. Do the Astros trade away Altuve, Bregman, JJ Redick, and all the other guys that knew? Because it looks like everybody knew. Do you clean house? Somebody in the Astro organization, like the owner, may just end up trying to just sell it all off. Not the team, the players. Because when those players walk into that stadium, if they don't play up to the ability and have those big moments like they look like they always had, coming up big in big moments, like, oh, they're just so great. Let's see what happens without the cheating. The evidence is there. The strong video and photos of allegations are there. The witness, the silent witness who's hiding behind the screen using the niece perspective of Carlos Beltran, is going to come out with more evidence. And I'm going to check the wire one more time, folks, because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Nothing is out yet, from what I can see, that is new and big about anything more damning and damaging of Houston Astros players and Boston Red Sox players. Some people suspect that other teams will start to get hit too. And people have tried and tried already to point fingers at everywhere else. But at this point, I think baseball has done the right thing to stop what they don't appreciate, like that is harmful to their game financially and the integrity of the game itself globally, domestically. If they don't want this in their game, then they need to stop it. If they want this in their game, then get ready for slow pitch baseball, slow pitch softball, because that's how it's going to look. You're going to have a minimum 5 home runs in a game. And after that, if you hit the ball over the fence, it's going to be an out because it'll be too easy. Because everybody's going to know what pitch is coming, what type of pitch is coming. If you allow this to go on, it is cheating. Once again, when you cheat the game because it's against the rules, you got caught. That's it. You cannot turn the other way. Now, if baseball should have taken care of this a few years ago. Baseball should have stopped this when they heard the rumors, and they probably talked to the teams about it, and they probably were ignoring the ruling by the Major League Baseball. There's no doubt in mind, after baseball implemented the rule of devices not allowed during the game, to implement the game, to do the damage that it's done, the way it could be done, the way they saw it happening, the way it was complained, the way it was presented, the Houston Astros continued to do it. That's why players and people need to be banned from baseball. Banned. Like, that's so hard. It's that they've made their millions. Don't worry about them. They made millions and millions of dollars. And if you put your hand in that cookie jar and you got caught, you got caught. No mercy. We'll find more about this device, the vibration that the vibrating device on the Astro players for the sign stealing. That is banning, lifetime banning stuff. It really is. You cannot go that far. And it does look like Altuve and his boys in Astroland will have an asterisk forever and will always face the fire no matter what. It's a hard battle back, and it's deserved. They deserve it. They harmed the game of baseball, and the damage they did already is already devastating. Financially, devastating, up and down, from the concession stand to the parking attendant, all the way up to the top. Players' salaries, minor league ball players, whatever it is. There's many levels of people being affected and hurt by this. And for the future of baseball, how long will this linger? The cloud will linger over their heads. It's okay because they need to stop it and get rid of it. We'll find out if more people want to dig. People want to dig and dig and dig and point at everybody else. Well, how come they can do it? How come they didn't get caught? They got caught. They got punished. And if from this point on, if nobody does it again, we're fine. If people and teams and players continue to cheat this way, they get hit hard. So from this point on, stop. Stop it. All right. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up on this Friday. This is Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Your host, Cornelius Brad Hanna. Hanna Time on a Good Friday. YouTube Live, Facebook Live. And I want to say thank you for a great week. Going to have a great football weekend. We'll talk Monday about all the games, both games of the NFL Championship Sunday. Winners go to the Super Bowl. I want to hear all about your predictions about Super Bowl. Here we go. We will see you on a Monday next week, right here on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. It is Hanna Time. Cornelius Brad Hanna. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.